Action AM News, which brings you the best news reports from 4 to 5 a.m. Starring your host, Mark Johnson, John Markson, Dave Johnson, and, well, that other guy.
Welcome to Action AM News, where the news is only relevant at 3 or 4 o'clock a.m. I'm John Markson, this is Mark Johnson.
And I'm Johnson. Dave Johnson.
And we are going to continue with this broadcast right now.
Hey, you all forgot me again.
Is California using criminals to grade student tests? Is test taking causing kids to smoke? Are your kids eating lunches? Or are their lunches eating them? All these questions will be answered on Action News AM.
In a recent government study, Harry S. Truman Elementary School in Missouri has shown the highest levels of achievement and compliance to educational standards set in all the states.
Missouri, huh? My ex-wife was from Missouri. The show me state. She took that motto a little too literally.
For 5 years straight, Truman School students have kept producing higher test scores. Even their athletic teams have excelled, winning Division VI championships for 5 years in a row.
There's a Division VI in elementary school?
Yes, and the data is showing that there are 4 Division VI elementary athletic programs in Missouri. Well, at least they're consistent. I interviewed one of the prominent and well-established staff members at the school, Mr. E.Z. Pickens. Let's see how the school has managed to do so well. John Markson here at Harry S. Truman Elementary School in Missouri, and it looks like Mr. Pickens is just now finishing off his gym class.
Come on now, Baba Chuck. You gotta do 5 sit-ups, you hear? We've got to have all our kids pass this physical fitness test.
We only did 4 last year. I hate exercise.
Damn it, son. Get moving. I can tell your mama how bad you been.
Mr. Pickens, what is it that you actually teach here?
Oh, me? Oh, well, see, I teach the upper grades and numbers and saying stuff, and I also teach everybody in movement class. You got Baba Chuck here trying to do some sit-ups. Way to your mama, Baba Chuck.
So how is it that the students get better and better each after, year after year?
Oh, well, see, we knew that our students wouldn't keep getting better at stuff, so we sat down with school boards and we said, well, why don't we just set our standards as low as possible? So that's what we did. And it seems like it's really working out pretty good, like if you're sitting on the back porch with a banjo and talking about your old dog picking flowers off the cone ditties, and then you get the prototype. Well, see you later.
That's about all the misery that we could stand in that state. Congrats to them, though, I guess. Now for our weather.
Ozzy's green.
All right. A recent study shows more teens are starting to smoke in high school.
That sounds accurate. I started smoking again after the divorce. I'm down to 6 packs a day now.
According to the study, of those polled cited stress from smoke and high-stake tests as their #1 reason for starting to smoke. Those damn cigarette companies and advertising to children, they ought to be ashamed.
Should you invest in ADD medicine?
Money is good. I like money.
A recent survey shows that ADD medicine sales are steadily increasing all over the country.
Look, a squirrel.
The increases in prescriptions of the drugs could be related to all the parents buying the medicine to keep their children from fidgeting in schools and not being able to focus up at the blackboard. New extra-strength Ritalin has a slogan: a sedated and drooling child is a happy and learning child. In the past couple of months, thousands of teachers all over the country, from private to public schools, have been laid off due to the lack of funding. A large number of parents are banding together to have more teachers fired, though, all over the U.S. This started as a social media group, Why Aren't Our Kids Getting Into the Schools They Want? And this was made for parents to complain about how teachers have failed to teach their students proper methods for passing the ACT and SAT. They are now taking action, and hundreds of lawsuits are in the works. One teacher under fire said how children needed imagination, creativity, and passion.
Those are good ones.
More like rhetorical bullshit words these teachers tried to use in explaining why they didn't teach the test, but we all know that they are just lazy or inept. Fostering a sense of love for learning is a ludicrous idea.
Ludicrous.
Kids naturally hate school.
Hate school.
That's just the way it is.
You know someone who did love learning though? The Nazis.
Stick to the weather.
Good idea. In other news, there's also a lawsuit out against the writers of the new 2013 SAT test. Remaining unnamed at the present, these guys tried to make the questions on the new SAT test less culturally biased. They incorporated slang and urban language into the question, asking one of the most offensive questions asked students in a mock trial of the test to identify the relationship that most resembled Chickenhead to Lucy.
I could sure go for a Lucy right now.
Well, I don't think they're talking about referencing a cigarette. But we're getting into the questions now, and the possible answers included A, doctor to scalpel, B, dentist to hygienist, C, surgeon to operation, and D, nurse to bedpan. What do you think the answer was?
No idea.
That was wrong. The answer is C, surgeon to operation. So just as the surgeon gives his or her client an operation, the chickenhead or fallacious woman gives a Lucy to her client. There was outrage in the community after students complained about this new section of the test. They looked up the terms on Urban Dictionary and complained to their parents. Parents are taking this new test creators to court for corrupting the minds of the children for asking questions regarding oral sex.
I suppose either Lucy would do. In other SAT-related news, the state of California is using criminals to grade the writing portion of the SAT.
Criminals?
This serves as a way to save money and as a program for the criminals to learn. Unfortunately, some of the convicts aren't properly using the grading criteria. Writing sections have earned failing grades based on grader bias. Some of the papers were stabbed to shreds, and others were used as Kleenex or toilet paper. Either way, all of the writing portion for 2012 students will have to be redone.
That sucks.
Shame. Sounded like a good idea.
In an attempt to make students more interested in school and excited about standardized tests, Heady Dumbass is developing a whole genre of video games that include taking the SAT. Wrong answers include an array of gruesome deaths, including having a large number 2 pencil behead the player, electrocution, or being fed Nazi zombies. I think that... I'm sorry, that was Eddie Dumas.
In other news, colleges all across the nation tested to find a correlation between students' test scores and performance in college or success in the individual's career path. They were stunned to find that students with the highest test scores weren't necessarily achieving well in college or in the careers that they
weren't
chose.
achieving. Nope.
The government hopes to solve this mystery by running yet another test.
Test?
Seriously, John, stop repeating what I say, okay?
Okay.
As a result, the money for funding schools has hit an all-time low. It looks as if we'll be switching over to the main desk for our feature story tonight regarding nutrition in schools. Over to the piss midget making exponentially more money than me, the head of this station, the idiot who hired our equally inept weatherman, my spineless, slithering, backstabbing brother, who, according to my wife, has so much more to offer, Dave Johnson. All he does is try to make the news funny with sight gags and inappropriate humor. No one laugh. Action AM News is serious. Making it rain in here, baby. Dave, the Magic Johnson here. I sent the J-Man over to Bluffton Middle School to check out some honeys for my depressing brother. Some barely legal ladies. Like, not old people, but hopefully not too young people either, because that's frowned upon here in the States. But we happened on a story so shocking, frightening, and fresh. You all might just have to change your pants when you're done watching. Get it? Like, it's so good.
I'm on location at Bluffington Middle School, which was the site of an unfortunate tragedy today. Reportedly, a bad batch of pink slime, a filler used in beef products, particularly in school lunches, got loose from its container and brought about a catastrophe that resulted in the loss of one lunch lady. Fortunately, no students were harmed, but that may not have been the case if not for the actions of that now lost heroic lunch lady. She was able to get off a warning, and the students were able to evacuate the lunchroom before the pink slime could harm anyone else. And
Yes, we have a recording of that right now. We're going to go ahead and play that for you.
911 operator, what's your emergency?
Hide your kids! Hide your nerves! There's pink slime everywhere! You gotta call the police! Call the ambulance! Call the CIA! The National Guard! Colonel Sanders! Call NASA! Oh, my face!
Wow, you can hear the urgency in her voice. Now we're going to talk to a student who witnessed this event unfold. I believe your name is Daniel, right?
Well...
Yeah, okay, could you just tell us what you saw?
Oh, well, I was sitting here and I had just taken all of my medications, like my anti-high blood pressure medication and my anti-diabetes medication and my anti-heart disease medication and my anti-asthma medication. And then I was about to eat my giant deep dish pizza, which they serve here every Monday, and they're really awesome because they're really big and really cheesy and have a lot of meat on them. And it goes great with the Four Choko. Have you ever had Four Choko? Oh, well, it's made by the guys that made Four Loko, except instead of caffeine, they replaced that with chocolate. And instead of alcohol, they replaced that with chocolate too. And it's just amazing. It goes awesome with it. It's like...
So, when did you see the pink slime?
Oh, well, I was getting ready to eat, and then I heard a scream come from the kitchen. So I looked over, and that's when I saw...
The blob?
No, actually, they were out of french fries, and it scared me a little. Oh, but then right behind the counter, I saw the lunch lady, and she was trying to beat back this giant pink blobby looking thing. It was giant and pink and blobby and delicious looking, actually.
All right, and thank you, Danny. Pink slime is a substance that has been used in school lunches for years now. It acts as a substitute for beef products like hamburgers, Salisbury steaks, anything. And other than just filling our children with more insoluble proteins rather than nutrition, it's usually an unnoticeable substance. It is surprising that it's still in use, though. There have been other cases of pink slime going wild in some of the other schools across the country, specifically in an elementary school in Minnesota, and I believe that we have footage. Can we play that? Yes, it's truly frightening. Earlier, we were able to catch up with the head of the hazmat team, Doug LaDouche. So, Mr. LaDouche, what is it?
Actually, it's pronounced LaDoce.
Oh, okay. Mr. LaDouche, is it true that you have the pink slime under control?
Yes, we have it under control. It took 18 of our team. One guy lost a finger. Another guy lost a toe. Another guy lost his entire bank account when the pink slime stole his credit cards and committed identity theft. But we have it contained now.
Doug, we know the pink slime is a food additive, but what's it made of?
Well, pink slime, or finely textured lean beef, is a mixture of scraps from industrial butcher plants. Things like connective tissue and trimmings are taken and then mixed together in a large steel reactor. Fats and oils are separated from thicker bits of protein by heating the mixture at 100 degrees Fahrenheit and then being spun in a centrifuge. The emerging protein comes out in the form of a lean, sticky substance, and this substance is mixed with ammonium hydroxide, ammonium partially dissolved in water, and then it is ready to be made as filler in any manner of foods, from hot dogs to hamburgers. You think you can give me a hand with this?
All right, well, thank you for your time, Doug. Pink slime, what an oddity.
Back to you, Dave. All right, thank you, John. Well, it appears that now we will have to worry about our lunch ladies keeping their lunch down too. Get it? You know, like a dog. Down, boy. That's about all the action my brother gets anyway. Speaking of school lunches, tune in for our 11 o'clock broadcast where Julianne Higgins will be doing her story on a concept called behavioral economics. It's being applied to several local school lunchrooms, It's supposedly cost-effective and an easy concept that can get kids to eat healthier while resulting in little to no change in overall school revenue. People are hoping that it helps to combat childhood obesity because more than 30% of young adults in America are either overweight or obese. Whoa, that is a lot. Like, if you had 3 kids and they're standing in front of you, well, probably none of those 3 kids would be overweight or obese. But then if those kids went away and you got 3 more kids, well, probably neither of them would be overweight or obese either. But if you got 3 more kids and it wasn't the same set or the second group of kids, then like all 3 of those kids would be overweight or obese. That's a lot. Well, back to the J-Man to wrap us up tonight. Like, wrap it before you tap it. Get it? Like before sex.
So, according to all this news, it would seem that there's a lot of work to be done improving the quality of education and nutrition in our schools. Thanks for tuning in. I'm John Marson. This is Mark Johnson, and tune in to Action AM News next time.